Fourth meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keene.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Noling.
Present.
Roach.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
Groh.
Excuse, oh, she's
Virtually here.
not
Haas.
excused.
Here.
Halverson.
Here.
10 present.
All right, a quorum is present. Please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderwoman Keene. Thank you. We will move on to Part D of our agenda this evening, public hearings and presentations. We have 3 items, and I will ask the clerk to read item number 1.
Ordinance to amend front setback for accessory dwelling units and further define other residential accessory structures.
Thank you. Turn it over to Mr. Scher.
Good evening. My name is Steve Scher. I'm the Director of City Planning. And our first public hearing this evening is on an ordinance amendment to Section 19.42 of the zoning ordinance dealing with accessory buildings and accessory structures. Okay. So the first part of the ordinance amendment would be to update the existing definition of accessory structure. The highlighted part in green is the part that we added, basically indicating that in addition to, an accessory structure being a structure other than a principal building, such as your home, it is also considered detached from a principal building, and including but not limited to carports, sheds, pergolas, greenhouses, and the like. The second part of the ordinance amendment is basically taking this existing table within 1942, which basically identifies the bulk requirements of various accessory buildings. The first column being accessory dwelling units. The city does currently allow accessory dwelling units within the city, subject to these that column's bulk requirements. We also allow things like detached garages and other what's deemed as other accessory buildings. Those can be the pergolas, the greenhouses, the gazebos that we had talked about, carports in the prior slide. So the change to this part will be on that first column under accessory dwelling units, and the front yard setback portion of that would be changed. Right now, if you look at the existing portion of that code, the front yard setback for an accessory dwelling unit is 60 feet from the front property line. We'd like to change that, be consistent with the applicable zoning district or where that ADU would like to be located. So for instance, if within a residential RB zoning district, the idea would be to have the front setback be consistent with the RB zoning district, or 10 feet. The other highlighted portion of the ordinance here that would be changing would be to include some design standards. So for any accessory building that's over 150 square feet, there would be a building permit required, and then that building permit also triggers a design review. So we're just building in some design characteristics for larger buildings on a lot so that they're somewhat compatible with the main structure, whether it be a roof pitch, siding, exterior materials, color, just to sort of bring some symmetry to the overall look on the property. Under the existing code, just sort of an example of what that 60-foot setback would look like. This is just a hypothetical corner lot in the city of West Allis on 61st and Lapham. Under the existing code, the way it's currently written, that accessory dwelling unit, in this case a 400 square foot secondary dwelling, would have to be set back 60 feet from that front lot line along Lapham Street, which is on the top. And then with the code change, this is what it does. It brings that accessory dwelling unit closer to the street frontage with Lapham Street, consistent with the RB zoning district. So in this case, a 10-foot front yard setback, similar, very similar and consistent with the main home, the main dwelling on that property. Not all neighborhoods are the same in West Allis. We have different zoning districts. In some portions of the city, you have that are not as dense. There's a greater setback requirement. For instance, in the RA1 zoning district, and in that area, an accessory dwelling unit is also allowed, but it would have to be set back at least 30 feet from the front yard, front lot line, similar to the main home. So in each case, though, new construction would require both design review and a building permit. So Plan Commission has recommended approval of this ordinance amendment. There have been no objections after being published, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are there any questions from the members of the council on public hearing number 1?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
Steve, could you go back to that chart you had? That top thing that, I don't know what we call it, on the picture.
Oh, the carport?
Yeah, is that allowed?
That would be not allowed. I mean, unless your home's made of cloth. I mean, it's, but I mean, yeah.
Right,
so, I
those
mean,
fabric kind of
right.
things. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
this isn't changing that.
correct. We're looking at, different styles of, carports that may be out there. And, some are canvas, others are just,
Yeah.
Metal structures. But the main thing is that if it's over that 150 square feet, we're looking for consistency with the main building on the property and some design elements being brought in to be on that new structure.
And how many accessory dwelling, well, they're not all dwelling units, accessory buildings are allowed per lot?
Just one.
Just
So
one.
For,
So you
for a
could-
single family home or a duplex home, you could have one accessory dwelling unit.
So you could have a shed or a gazebo.
You could have a shed, a gazebo, you could have an accessory dwelling unit.
But you can only have
And
one of those.
Well, you could have, there's only one accessory dwelling unit allowed per
unit.
property.
Okay.
However, you can have, along with that, you could have a shed, you could have a gazebo. There are certain setback requirements for each of those elements or features on a lot, and then there's also a lot coverage per
Right, I
zoning
understand
district that you can't
that.
exceed.
But I think I know some houses that have 3 sheds, let's say. Is that allowed? 3 different smallish sheds.
Technically not. I mean,
Technically not, but,
yeah.
and we're not going after that here or anything. We're not, okay. We're not changing any of that.
Correct, yeah, we're clarifying some components of the existing code to, I guess, be a little bit more upfront, as we're getting more requests for carports, the gazebos, garages and sheds. We just want to make it hopefully a little bit easier to understand for the public.
And a carport is a standalone piece.
It could be attached to the main building, so in other words, you could have an attached garage with maybe another
A shed
little
roof off
shed
of
roof
it.
coming off.
Yeah.
We're considering that part of the main building,
Okay.
but in this case, the standalone detached structures are what we're
What we're talking
regulating
about
with.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So you could have a garage with a attached roof to keep the car parked underneath it, and then still have another shed or something.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Any other questions from the council? Seeing none, do any members of the audience have questions or comments on public hearing number 1? All right, seeing none, we will close our first public hearing, and we will move on to item number 2. And I'll ask the clerk to read that out.
Final resolution authorizing public improvement concrete construction, concrete reconstruction, and/or asphalt resurfacing and replacement of private side lead water service laterals in various locations and levying special assessments against benefited properties.
Thank you, and I'll turn it over to staff whenever you're ready. Hopefully the microphone works.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melinda Diesky. I am the city engineer for West Allis. With me tonight is Rob Hutter, who is the assistant city engineer for West Allis. And we are conducting a public hearing on 2026 street reconstruction for West Mitchell from South 56th Street to South 60th Street, from South 78th Street to from West Beloit to West Arthur, from South 88th Street from West Cleveland to West Montana, another South 88th Street from West Maple to West Mitchell, and South 72nd Street from West Washington to the north city limits. Again, here is our contact information. We'll have a slide at the end with our contact information again. The public hearing procedure, generally what we do is we talk about the project, we talk about the scope of the project and the cost. We discuss how the special assessment rates were calculated and the different payment methods. We take comments and questions from the common council and the citizens that are affected. Then the public hearing is closed and the project is referred to the Public Works Committee for discussion and a recommendation back to the council. And then the council reconvenes and makes a final decision. If you have questions that are specific to your property, we would be better off trying to address very specific questions on a one-to-one or an individual basis. So we would appreciate if you could reach out to the engineering department, Rob, myself, after the meeting, and we can try to talk about those really specific details offline, but we can talk certainly about general questions in a broader sense during the meeting here. So when we do our street reconstructions, we are trying to repair pavement and streets that have severe pavement deterioration, extensive cracking, similar to what you see in the streets here. Cracking, especially alligator cracking such as this, indicates that there's a failure in the base, and therefore we have to remove the entire pavement, not just resurface it. And when we look at reconstruction projects, we also look at the sewer and the water underneath the street. We look at the sanitary sewers and the storm sewers and the water mains. So on these streets, the water mains range from the 1910s to the 1950s, and we will replace those if there's been numerous breaks along there, or if they're in the 1910 era. The laterals, the water laterals to the properties. If you have a copper water lateral, we will not be replacing that. If you have a lead water lateral, we will be replacing that. The city portion from the curb stop to the main in the street will be done with the road project and is included in the cost of the project. The portion from the curb stop into your home is shown as a special assessment on the estimate that we sent. The storm sewers, we're going to redo the storm sewers on some of the streets, and we will install a storm lateral to your property, and if you so choose, you can hook into that. New sanitary sewers on the streets will be done because many of these existing sewers are from the 1910s, 1920s, and when you'll get a new sanitary lateral to the property line. And then just so everybody understands, the underground costs, the cost for the underground utilities are paid for by the sanitary and the storm and the water utilities. So they're not part of the road special assessment. They're paid out of a different fund. So this is a breakdown of how street construction is funded in the city of West Allis. As you can see, we have several funding sources here. The orange is the citywide property taxes, which for these 5 streets is over $1 million is coming from property taxes. The stormwater utility is going to fund over $2 million. The water utility is going to fund $1.3 million. The Safe Drinking Water Fund loan is going to fund $280,000. That's where we get the money for the private side lead service lateral replacements after that the special assessment doesn't cover. The purple is the special assessments, which is $690,000. And then the sanitary sewer utility is going to fund $1.2 million. So we'll go through and we'll go street by street just so everybody gets an idea of how that breaks out per street. So for West Mitchell, you can see there's a breakdown of roadways and driveways, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main, lead service laterals, and a total project cost for West Mitchell of $3,275,400. For West Mitchell, the special assessments are $128,200 $263, which is 4% of the total cost of Mitchell Street project. And just so everybody understands, roadway and driveway includes the concrete or asphalt pavement, excavating the road, the gravel that goes underneath the road, the curb and the gutter, the concrete curb and gutter, concrete sidewalk, topsoil and sod that goes between the sidewalk and the back of curb. If there's carriage walks, those little walkways that go from the back of curb to sidewalk, any traffic control, mobilization, and really any other items needed to build the street, the curb and gutter, or the sidewalk. So just so everybody understands what's included in that roadway and driveway item. So for South 78th Street, we have the same type of breakout. The total project cost there is $1,477,200. The special assessments for South 78th Street add up to $194,373, which is 13% of the total project cost. South 88th Street from Cleveland to Montana, that project cost is $333,000, and the special assessments total is $48,212, which is 14% of that total project cost. And then on the other South 88th Street, from Maple to Mitchell, that total project cost is $545,000, with the special assessments totaling $61,583,000, and which is 11% of the total project cost. And lastly, South 72nd Street, that total project cost is $164,800. The total special assessments for that project are $257,508, which is 22% of that project total. So in Wisconsin, the state statutes allow municipalities to use special assessments to pay for infrastructure improvements. In West Allis, property owners have paid special street improvements benefiting their properties through special assessments. In the past, it's been 100%. As you can clearly see from the past slides, it's not 100% anymore. We use special assessments because special assessments are paid by all property owners in that district, including all the tax-exempt properties such as schools, parks, churches, hospitals, and State Fair Park is even assessed. West Allis has approximately 400 tax-exempt properties in the city that do not pay property tax. So by using the special assessment method, we ensure that every property owner is treated equally throughout the city. For this group of projects, the city will collect again approximately $689,939 in special assessments, or 10% of the total project cost. One thing to note, that the special assessment rates are set annually based on projected construction cost increases, and that rate is set independently of the bid prices for each project. So to go through just an example of what your special assessment bill, how we calculated that, the example here is for a residential property. If your lot width is 60 feet, and we set the residential assessment rate at $71.76 per lineal foot, that's front foot of your property. It's just a math equation. That cost would be $4,305.60. In addition, we charge for the driveway approach, which is based on a square foot calculation, which is $8.96 per square foot. And included in some of the bills this year, we have the lead surface lateral $2,000 special assessment as well. Bills, we anticipate the final bills for the special assessments for these roads to be billed out sometime after March of next year. You can pay it in full once you receive that bill, or there's a couple of payment options, a 5-year or 10-year installment plan. The installment plans do have a 4% interest, and so you can see the range for the example up above. Your first year would be $603 payment, and your last year would be $448 payment. Just a note about the interest rate, the city has to borrow funds to construct these projects, and we have to we use bonds to basically borrow for that, and we have to hold that for 10 years. So the city passes along the interest charges to the property owners that choose a 5 or a 10-year payment plan, but we're not making a profit on it. That's just our cost to hold that loan and that bond for that period of time. So just a little bit about schedule. We have been designing the project here over the winter. The project will go to bid in April, and then in spring, once the bids are in, the city will look at the lowest responsible bidder, bring that to the council and to be awarded, and then depending on the project, the work can start when the weather allows. And then the construction happens over spring and summer and into the fall of 2026. It starts with the underground construction, and then we do the street construction. The topsoil and sod are the last part of that process. A lot of questions that we get asked during construction projects. What happens with the trash pickup? And the engineering department coordinates that with the Department of Public Works. We work closely with them, and so when we get to that point where garbage collection is impacted, recycle collection is impacted, they'll put out a door hanger for you, and then you'll know what the schedule is and what's going to happen with the garbage collection. There will be parts of the time where parking isn't accessible on the street, so we will ask residents to park on adjacent streets. We work with the police department, so you don't need to obtain a permit for that. We give the police department a buffer area, and they're aware, so they will not ticket cars in those areas. Notifications for the construction, we send out through the mail. Cover letter giving more specific details about when the project's going to start, some timelines that we have from the contractor, who the city inspector is going to be on that project with a contact information so that you can get in touch with the inspector. They are our boots on the ground. They are watching and inspecting and making sure that this project is constructed correctly and to the specifications. Sometimes there's a short time frame to get notices out. Then what we do is we have the inspector put either door hangers or notices in the doors to try to get real-time information out. As always, if you have specific questions about your property, whether it's your lateral, your driveway approach, the special assessment, definitely contact the engineering department after tonight's meeting. We can certainly work through your questions. One of the nice things we do have also is our construction in progress report. You can go to the city website and sign up for that. Every week we put out, Rob puts it out, a status on what the project is, where we are, things upcoming, things of note for that. And anybody can sign up for that. You don't have to live on the project, but like if you are visiting someone on the project, you can also sign up and get real-time updates for that. And with that, we conclude our presentation.
Thanks very much. Are there any questions from the council on our second item tonight? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions from the audience on our second public hearing this evening? If there is, please approach the podium and turn on the microphone, and then please give us your name and address before your comments.
Chaz Rooney, 1668 South 60th Street. So these assessments, so we're not actually paying for the road, we're paying for what? I mean, or are we paying a percentage for the road, or?
The special assessment is for a portion, the front footage along the roadway. So it's the road, and the curb and gutter, and the sidewalk.
Okay, so I can't speak for everybody in here because that'd be presumptuous. I just wrote something, just thoughts from me, and so it's not confrontational or anything. I'm just where. So I'm going to use the me in this because that's all I can speak for is me. But I'd like you to reconsider its decision to because I'm getting charged about $5,000 for a street and sidewalk repairs in front of my building. The city's justification appears to be that I benefit the most from these improvements. The conclusion does not reflect reality. The overwhelming majority of traffic and wear on this roadway comes from the general public. which include semi-trucks, large delivery vehicles, commuters, emergency vehicles, and city equipment. The traffic passing my property in a single day exceeds what I would generate myself in decades. My personal use is negligible compared to the constant public and commercial use of the street carries. In addition, the city's own tree planting has contributed significantly to this deterioration. The trees selected are far too big for the space, and their roots have lifted and damaged sections of the sidewalk and street. The planting of these inappropriate trees was a city decision, not a private resident decision. I would also like clarification on the city's plan regarding these trees. Will they be removed entirely, or will their root systems be cut during constructions? Damaging established root systems could weaken the trees, shorten their lifespan, or create safety risks, potentially placing my building and my surrounding property at risk. If replacements are planned, what assurance is there that more appropriate species will be selected to prevent the same problem from reoccurring? I'm also concerned about the scale of the structure of this assessment. The city repaired 60th Street, perpendicular street, because I'm right on 60th and Mitchell, just over a decade ago when I was charged approximately $900, which was added to my property tax and paid over 10 years. I kind of asked the city to explain how payment is intended to be handled this time if my request is ignored and the assessment proceeds. Additionally, increase of $5,000 in such a short raises serious questions. This represents more than a 5-fold increase in costs, far exceeding typical inflation or cost of living changes. This also warrants kind of a better explanation and justification how it goes from $900 to $5,000 in a decade. Because my property sits along 2 major streets, this infrastructure functions primarily as a public thoroughfare, not a private benefit. Assigning the financial burden of maintaining heavily used public infrastructure to adjacent property owners is inequitable and inconsistent with the principle that public roads exist for public use. For these reasons, I respectfully request that you reconsider exactly how much you're charging the property owners.
Oh, okay. So the rates are set, like I talked about. We set them in the fall for the upcoming construction season. So those have been set already. The special assessments do not cover the entire portion of the construction, as you saw. A large share, 90% comes from other funding sources, and a large portion of that is property taxes. So we are capturing not only the general public use of the streets, but then the individual use of the street. Your question about the trees. Mitchell, I think all the trees are being removed. The south side, the trees on the south side are being removed. There's a very large storm sewer in Mitchell, and we need to reconstruct that. So the trees on the south side are being removed and will be replanted. Our forestry has come a long way in a number of years. There's a much bigger, diverse species that we can do and plant that are engineered to be for small spaces. I don't remember off the top of my head if those on the south side will be replaced or not. When we cut them down, we will be removing the entire root structure, or as much as we can get. The ones on the north side, we would try to save as many as we can, but sitting right here, I don't remember if there are some that have to be removed or
Well,
not. That would be something we could look at.
Well, the 2 in front
offline.
of my building have already destroyed the actually city code for safety, for like inclines and everything. They've lifted my sidewalk up so much. I've been kind of asking you guys to fix that for the last 6-7 years. And all they do is keep coming in with tar and a blacktop and doing it. But it's not even up to code for the last 6 years. They took out some root systems on one of my curbs, probably because it was interfering with the drain. They never replaced the curb. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. So it just looks junky. So
we're going to fix those problems with this
okay,
project.
so these 2 trees would probably have to be removed, and I mean they're lifting the sidewalk
Yeah,
up.
that's an ongoing conversation with forestry.
Okay.
So that's something that we have to look at, and we haven't got that nailed exactly down. Again, that's something probably that would be best discussed more on a one-to-one type
Okay.
of thing.
And then I could just make an appointment to
Yep.
engineering.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then is it going to be a chance to go into the tax just put on the taxes like it was the last time, or?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
so we just add it to our tax bills?
You can select a 5 or 10-year payment plan, and it'll be shown on your tax bill then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on public hearing number 2? Sorry, Ms. Johnson, can you turn your microphone on, please? Just push the button. Thank you.
Okay. Janet Johnson, 2554 South 78th Street. 78th Street butts up to McCarty Park, and we're right by the playground. And my question is, are you planning on putting any type of a speed bump? 1 or 2 would be wonderful on that street, because cars are flying through there, and especially with the playground.
We are looking at different traffic calming techniques, maybe
Okay.
not a speed bump per se, but some bump outs along there, and we recognize that it's kind of a weird street, because like in the summer, there's tons of cars on it,
Right.
and that makes you go slower, right?
No.
Right, well, you would hope, but in the winter, it's a wide open street, and it makes it even easier to speed. So
Right.
we certainly are looking at different traffic calming techniques. We've been considering more bump outs rather than speed bumps, trying to narrow the street and create kind of this, you
Okay.
gotta kind of weave in and out. It also might help delineate some parking better. So those are the kinds of things we're looking for to create some traffic calming opportunities there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Donald Gall, 2630 South 78th Street. I'd like to compliment Dan and Rob for getting back to me so quickly. My question is this. My understanding is part of the sewer itself is damaged or collapsing. And that's one of the reasons they're going in there to replace it. My question is, there's a couple houses to the north of me and down at the end of the block, and it's got nothing to do with the 100-year flood that we had. Some of these houses are getting backup from water, from the sewer. Is that because of the sewer, and is the sewer going to be bigger or something to alleviate that?
You're talking about the storm sewer?
Yes.
Okay, so generally, and again, I don't necessarily know. Generally, when we replace storm sewer in the street, we try to upsize it. So we try to build in more capacity if we have the space in the street, because you have to have a certain amount of oil on top of storm sewer so
Yep.
that the road traffic doesn't impact the structure of the storm sewer. So if we have enough clearance in there, we do try to increase the size, so there would be more capacity within that storm sewer. As to why individual properties are backing up, they should call us, and we could do an investigation specific to that property.
Yes, and I think someone did come out and inspect the sewer a couple of years ago.
Okay?
Because they gave me some kind of notice that they would do the lateral with some kind of inner lining if we needed it.
That sounds
So
like a
somebody was in there once
sanitary-
before looking at that.
Sure, that sounds more like a sanitary sewer. We do have a lining program for the sanitary
Yep.
sewer. The sanitary sewers, we typically don't increase the size unless, you could be getting, so if the sanitary sewer is old, which we know it is, the lateral from the main to your home is probably what we call clay tile. They're short 2-foot pieces, and they're what we call dry set. There's no mortar in there. They're just kind of shoved together. And
Right.
as the ground and the freezes and thaws over, from 1910 or 1920 to now, it eventually kind of works its way apart.
Yeah.
Other things that happen, if there's a rock adjacent to clay tile is very, very strong until dink, and it gets a crack, and then it just falls apart.
Right.
And so a rock could have over time kind of worked its way against your clay tile and cracked it. So there's a number of reasons why it cracked. But with this project up to the property line,
Yeah.
if there's any defect, we are going to replace that for you.
Right, and I haven't had a problem personally. I was just wondering why some people 2 houses down got water up into their sewer. Is it got something to do with the main sewer that you're gonna replace, the drain line or whatever,
I'm-
in the middle of the road, or are you aware of that?
I'm not aware, but maybe my staff is aware.
Okay.
And again, those people could reach out specifically to us again if they're still having issues.
Okay, but there's nothing in the engineering that says, hey, this was too small, it should have been
No,
increased.
oh, no, if it was, if we found it was too
Yep.
small, we've done our analysis, we would upsize it, but I
Okay.
don't believe that's the case. in
I
this
just don't want it
case.
to create a problem down the road, that
Oh,
my
no,
basement starts to flood because now you did something to the main sewer line.
No, I appreciate that, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jackie Wild. I live at 2610 South 78th Street. Can you tell me again, because I couldn't hear very well, when is this assessment due?
We will send out a final bill after March of 2027.
Okay. So if I were to pay it all at once, I could pay it after March of 2027?
Yes,
Okay.
and you can't, you can't pay it until we actually send you a bill.
Okay. The other thing, I just want to say that, you know, all this costs a lot of money, and, but for regular people, $3,900 all at once is pretty shocking, you know? So, I mean, and I'm not going to go into debt for a project that the city's doing. So for me, for my own home, we have saved up for 2 years just to fix some electrical in our backyard and to get some lighting going back there because it was wired wrong. So at least I'm glad that we have until March of 2027 to try to save up to pay for this. It just seemed kind of crazy to me. So, and I really do appreciate you got back to me on email. I appreciate that. That did give me more perspective.
Okay,
So,
good.
I also worry about, I have an elderly neighbor. I mean, I don't know if she has $4,000 just sitting around. So that does make me a little worried. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from our audience on public hearing number 2 this evening? Okay, we will close our second public hearing and move on to item number 3. And I will ask the clerk to read that out.
Presentation by Third Space Brewing regarding proposal to host a beer garden at Liberty Heights Park.
Hello, thank you for your time. My name is Andy Gale. I am the co-founder and president of Third Space Brewing in Milwaukee. With me is Carr Olds, our event manager at Third Space Brewing. And we have a presentation here we'd like to talk through. We're going to go over the presentation relatively quickly so we have time for your questions. Everyone has the presentation in front of you, so hopefully you can refer to the details as you need them, and feel free to ask Carr and myself any questions that you have. So we're gonna hit on a couple topics here. You know, the value to the community that a beer garden brings, some details on what we're actually proposing we do here with you in West Allis, the role of the city in the beer garden we're proposing, how we will be giving back to the community, and talking about what this could build into in the future. So I always like to start with the why, and so we'll get into all the details of what we're actually proposing in a second, but why are we sitting here suggesting that you work with us on a new beer garden in your city? And the reason is that the beer gardens are really powerful third spaces for people in the community. And what is a third space? Sure, it's the name of our brewery, Third Space Brewing, but we named ourselves that because we like to deliver this third space experience for people. So your first space is your home, your second space is your work, and your third space is that place you go to connect with the community, to have a good time, to kick back and relax and engage with others. And so beer gardens are a great opportunity to create that third space within a community. Historically, it goes back to our German heritage of beer gardens, where that local gathering space where the community came together in a casual setting in the community. Most people here have probably been to one of our great beer gardens that exist around the Milwaukee area, and if you have, you've seen the value they bring. So they provide that vibrant community gathering space. They are typically very family-friendly. Kids playing on the playground while parents visit with their neighbors, meet new friends, connect with old friends. They bring awareness to the park in which they are in. A lot of times people forget about the great community parks and city parks that you have. And we're going to be talking specifically about Liberty Heights here, an amazing park that you've built here in West Allis. The beer garden will bring people into that park, remind them of the great amenities that you've built there and all that the park has to offer. And it also will add some goodwill for the city, providing an amazing amenity, and generate some additional funds for the park and the community. So that's the why. Now, why Third Space? Why should you be talking to us about this? First of all, just introduction about who we are as a brewery. We are locally owned by myself and a gentleman by the name of Kevin Wright. We've been in operation for just under 10 years here in the Milwaukee area. We operate our main brewery and taproom location in Milwaukee in the Menominee River Valley. And we also operate two other retail locations. One is a relatively new restaurant and taproom we opened in Menominee Falls. And the other is another beer garden that's very similar to what we're proposing here, that is out in Elm Grove, in the Elm Grove Village Park. We opened that in 2021. But we also distribute our beer across the state of Wisconsin, and we are one of the top 5 producing craft breweries in our state. We have a large customer base and social following, but I'm not going to get into those details. The main reason, besides sort of our history and who we are as a company, is we have a proven track record of operating beer gardens like this. As I mentioned, we operate a beer garden in the Elm Grove Village Park. We've done that for the last 5 years. We started it very small, similar to what we're proposing to you tonight. And we've grown it over time. We're open now 5 days a week in Elm Grove, and from May 1st through the end of October. So it's almost a 6-month operation, and it has become one of the crown jewels there. People love it. You'll see in your packet a few survey results that I'm not going to really dive into the details of, but they've done some surveys in Elm Grove, and people have listed the Elm Grove Beer Garden as one of the top amenities that the village offers. The #1 used amenity or event in the village, and also the #2 amenity in the park behind the walking paths. And you have to walk on the paths to get to the beer garden. So we'll take #2. So we're really proud of that and what we've built there, and we would like to build something like that with you here in West Allis as well. There's some other testimonials in here from some of the residents of Elm Grove and how much they've loved what we built there. So Cara and I and our team were talking over the last year or so about how we've done such a great job building this experience in Elm Grove. We want to take that to another community. And we started looking around for communities that we thought would be great partners, that had great parks, had walkable neighborhoods, and great park facilities. And West Allis is one of several communities that we identified. And we reached out to the staff of the city, and there was a lot of excitement on their end as well. Mayor Devine and I have talked over the years about how to get Third Space into West Allis. And this is what we've come up with so far. But so we centered on Liberty Heights Park, which I'll get into in a little more detail in a minute, but mostly because of the great amenities that we have in the park there, and also the sort of the community feel that's around there, how walkable it is, and it's just a great spot for what we're looking for. So there were a couple of pictures Cara just showed there of what we're doing in Elm Grove. Yeah, now I'll get into a little bit of the details. So what is this? I told you why we want to do it. Well, what am I talking about here? We are talking about opening in your park 2 days a week between basically through the months of June, July, and August this summer, Fridays and Saturday evenings. And it is a pop-up experience. We're not looking at building anything. We would utilize some of the existing structures that are there, the beautiful new pavilion space and covered outdoor area at Liberty Heights Park. It would involve having a Third Space beer trailer on site that would store the beer and other items that we would be selling in the beer garden. We would need access to power, a small amount of storage that we've been working out with the city staff, the ability to put up some signage in the park that would be approved by the city staff to advertise the beer garden experience, and then space in the park or thereabouts to have food trucks and to set up small live musical acts like acoustic guitars, for example. That's really what it comes down to. It's pretty simple. There are two different service models that we are investigating with the city staff. One, our preferred model is using that new pavilion space that's been built there and the concession window that was so well placed in there, where we would serve from that kitchen out to the public, from the building to the outside, would allow us not have to take up a lot of space underneath the covered pavilion area. It would require us to set up some refrigerators in the kitchen area to store and dispense beer and some of the other products that I'll go over in a minute that we're going to propose to sell. And we would still need a refrigerated beer trailer on site, even though we're not serving directly from it, to store that backup product that we would need to sell across a weekend. The alternative service model, if the indoor area is not available, would be we could do a pop-up outside where we would serve directly from the beer trailer. We would need to set up a few table bar sections and just take a little bit of space from that indoor seating area, that beautiful outdoor covered seating area. We need to take up some of that for our service. So we're working through this with staff, but we're really curious what City Council has to say about our service models. A couple more logistics. This is an old photo, I think, of the pavilion previously. So we'll talk about what we're sort of proposing here in terms of what the table configuration would look like and the service model. So preferred service model would have us serving out of the small kitchen that's in the pavilion building there. There's a large rentable pavilion space there for private events and things and community events that we would not be using. If there's not an event going on, we'd love for that to be available for beer garden patrons to use. But we'd serve through the concession window that points out towards all the tables that are marked with a T. That's option one. Option two would have us setting up a service area in the bottom left corner there with the beer trailer positioned just outside of the covered pavilion space, and then us taking up some space with our picnic tables now. And Cara has identified here where we would propose setting up picnic tables with a total of, I believe it's 12 tables in the space to service the guests that would be coming to enjoy the space. Now, the idea behind the beer garden, and we'll talk about the benefits of Liberty Heights Park in a minute, is the proximity to all the amenities you have in the park. So the beautiful thing about this space is that you have the playground just adjacent to that. Parents love to sit and have a beer while their kids play on the playground in clear view, and they can continue to supervise their children as they play. And that pavilion space is also centrally located, so you have access to the volleyball courts, softball, baseball fields, and the other amenities there in the park. I'm going to skip through some of these logistics here. I hit on some of this, but the specifics of what we're proposing is some programming throughout the summer where we would like to invite food trucks out so that people can have a bite to eat while they are enjoying a beer or other products. We would have those on most Fridays and Saturday nights, and we will obtain the required city permits for those food trucks. We would also invite live music acts, small acts. We're talking solo, duo acts, a couple people with a guitar, playing background music from 6 to 8 p.m. on most Fridays and Saturdays. We will obtain the appropriate public entertainment licenses for that. And the products that we would like to sell on the alcoholic side, we would sell Third Space beer that we're quite proud of. We've also discussed with some of the already existing local West Allis breweries about having a potential rotating West Allis beer on tap. And then we would sell canned wine products, canned ready-to-drink cocktail products, canned hard seltzer, and we'd also propose selling a canned Delta 9 hemp-derived THC product that we make, which would fit into the non-alcoholic side. There's no alcohol in that drink. And then we'd sell water, Gatorade, juice, and soda for those that wouldn't be drinking alcohol or for the children. And then some limited prepackaged snack items. We usually do, goldfish crackers or popcorn and things like that if folks don't want to buy a meal from the food truck. We like the food truck there as well. Just a couple more photos of what we're doing out in Elm Grove. Why Liberty Heights? As most of you know, beautiful park that you guys have invested quite a bit in. Proximity to a great residential neighborhood. It's walkable, bikeable for local residents. Proximity to the playground. The fact that that covered area is in view of that beautiful playground is fantastic. but it's not right on top of it. Great park infrastructure with the indoor service area and ample power outlets for the beer trailer, musicians, other things that we're going to need, and that beautiful indoor space that I think we can also help activate by having the beer garden there and letting people know you have this amazing space that can be used for their community events. You have great park amenities there, beautiful playground, tennis, softball, volleyball spaces, open spaces, and then the great new pavilion, and then the covered seating area helps immensely with shade and shelter in case of poor weather. It's really a perfect park, and when we were identifying spots where this could happen. The logistics, the season and hours we're proposing for year one, and we hope this becomes a long-term relationship with the city of West Allis, would be operating from June 5th to August 29th on Fridays and Saturdays. And we're proposing opening from 4 to 9 p.m. on Fridays, 3 to 9 p.m. on Saturdays. But we would like to grow this. The idea behind this is going to be an ongoing community amenity that people know is always there, that can be their third space they go to on a weekly basis. So, like I said, we've grown over the years in Elm Grove. We started just Fridays and Saturdays. We're now Wednesday through Sunday there because that's what the community asked for. We want to start small, though, with West Allis, and let's prove it out, and let's build it over time once we all see that it's working. What are we expecting out of the city of West Allis? Promotional assistance. We would love for the city of West Allis to help us promote the event. Help us on social media, email blasts, direct mail campaigns, all the things you have available at your disposal, and signage in the park. And we're looking for a partner that's excited to have us. We want to find a municipality that's saying, you know what, this is something valuable for our community, and we would love for Third Space to come in and help us build this for our residents. And then the minor things are really, the only real active things that the city has to do besides help us provide the space is garbage pickup. We will generate some trash in the park and some recycling. And so assistance from the city in picking up garbage, but our team can help with cleanup, making sure the park looks great, and cleaning the bathrooms, making sure that the residents have a great experience when they're there, whether they're for the beer garden or not. So daily cleaning of the bathrooms and stocking, which we've spoken to city staff about, and neither of these things seem to be any kind of issue. Other things from the city, permitting and licensing. We would need your approval from the city council to set up as a brewery. The way we sell alcohol in a public space is we use our brewery license through the state of Wisconsin to set up a full-service retail outlet permit. We need approval from the city council to do that. Then we take that to the State Department of Revenue, and then they approve it. We've done this before, and we would need your assistance to set that up. And then we have been working with the city on all the city permits that we need. We're aware of that. So we'll just need you to help approve those. What are we giving to you? Besides creating a great amenity and a great new third space in West Allis, one of West Allis' great parks, we do want to contribute some revenue to the city directly, and also to do some community giving models that we've done in other places. We're working with the city staff on a use fee structure that would be tiered, so that there's a base use fee, and then some tiered ability for the city and the community to earn more as we earn more over time. Not over time, but as we have better days and lesser days, the fee would go up. Also, I don't think this is on a slide here, but we have talked to the staff about the importance, or maybe it's on the next slide, but of ideally segregating those funds directly for use either in the park or in that community of the Liberty Heights neighborhood to continue to build on the wish list for that area. And so we would love for the fees that we're paying in to directly be giving back to that immediate community. So that's something we're asking for. And then we also would do other things in terms of community giving. We've done a program called Community Spotlight Nights, where we host a different local nonprofit over different nights, and we highlight the great work they're doing and donate a portion of our proceeds back to the nonprofit. I've already spoken to the Liberty Heights Park Neighborhood Association about having them as one of our first community giving nights, and they're very excited about working with us on this program. And then just a reminder that at the end of the day, yes, the use fees are a great benefit to add some additional revenue to the park, but the reason to do this isn't the profit. It's to do it because you're providing an amazing amenity to your residents and creating an awesome new thing in their park. Building for the future, I mentioned at the beginning, we would like this to be a long-term partnership with the city of West Allis. We are looking for a 3-year commitment from the city. However, in talks with the city staff, we've recognized the importance. This is the first time you would be doing this with us. And so we're willing to bake this into the contract, an ability for the city to terminate the contract if things just aren't going well after the first year. But we would love a long-term commitment on both sides so we can build on this. We will be investing in this substantially, time and resources on our end. Just purchasing the beer trailer itself is around a $35,000 investment with no guarantee that we would have time to pay that off if we don't have it after the first year. And we will be investing substantial time from our staff and our marketing resources to build up this new amenity in the park. City investments will be minimal. We'll include some staff time, service of garbage, bathrooms, some electricity, which will be minimal, and some reallocation of picnic tables to the park. I think we need to add maybe 2 additional tables that aren't in there to fit our requests. And then some marketing resources to make sure the community is aware of this great new amenity that we'd be providing together. And that's all I have for you. I feel like I ran through it quickly, but there was a lot there. We would love to hear your questions.
All right, thanks for the presentation. Any questions from the council?
Mayor Devine?
We'll start with the Alderwoman of the district. Go ahead, Alderwoman Grobe.
Okay, thank you. I was aware of your conversation, with the neighborhood association. I think it's a really exciting proposal. I guess my only follow-up question, I know in the past, and we haven't been able to do this for a while because of the construction in the park, that we had the lunches and dinners in the summer for students and kids in the neighborhood, and whether or not that kitchenette would still be able to be used by the rec department or whoever's providing those lunches if that comes back to the park.
Absolutely.
Okay, so like the fridges or things like that would have a separate lock or something like that so that other organizations could still use the kitchenette?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's my only question currently.
Thank you.
Mayor Devine?
Yeah, I think your microphone might have to reset. There we go. Okay, I heard
Mayor
Alderwoman Keene and then Grisham and then Rote.
I seen here that you need 6 additional picnic tables, it was written. Are you looking for the city to provide those 6 additional tables?
Yes, so I believe in our talks with the city's staff, there are some tables already in the park that could be moved closer to the proposed beer garden area. And I believe our math was that we would need 2 additional tables that aren't already in the park. And so we're discussing with, can those be reallocated from a separate park?
And then with the garbage and bathroom cleaning, who's responsible now that maintains the bathrooms for Liberty Heights?
DPW.
And do we know what the cleaning schedule is currently? Would they have to add an individual to be able to clean up on Saturday and now Sunday, and we're potentially paying overtime?
I believe with the summer program, they were there pretty regularly already.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't see Dave from Public Works here, but I'm sure it would be something that would be melded into the agreement.
Okay, that's just, I like the concept. People who know me know I like beer. I have nothing against it. I think any type of community event is great. I just want to make sure if we're looking to localize the funds to that area, that DPW is paid for by all taxpayers and that it's not costing a tremendous burden on all taxpayers, but yet the additional is kind of going to that neighborhood, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I don't live in the neighborhood, I'll go. But that was just kind of one of my concerns, so thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Grisham?
Thank you. Yay, beer garden. Love the concept. However, like Alderwoman Keene, I have the concerns about costs and what is expected on the city side. One in particular, promotions usually isn't a problem, especially as we've been marketing our city so greatly. However, any direct mail campaigns would be a reason to pause for me. That would be additional cost. Also, additionally, is this would be an exclusive contract with you for use of the park, but yet you said food trucks would be invited to come in. Would you be getting a percentage, like a third-party booking, if you're bringing in different food trucks and venues to the park?
Well, we don't actually charge the food trucks. We look at them as another amenity. We don't charge a percentage of their sales.
Okay, and I think that's it. My other concern was the staff time, as Dana had said. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. This is outside of you. Didn't we have a pitch by Parks and Recreation for Liberty Heights? Did that go anywhere?
Yeah.
It did?
I
Okay.
believe that's happening. Yeah.
Okay, and that doesn't entail any,
Customers.
well, that'd be great. That'd be great. So, but it didn't entail anything like food trucks, different productions, or
And I
events
think-
that they were gonna have?
No, and I think you already have a partnership with that entity, correct, Andy?
Yeah, we've worked with them in Elm Grove as well, and other things at Third Space. They're excited about our existence. Although my understanding is for this summer there would be no overlap. I think their programming is all earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But in the
that's right.
future, we'd love to work with them, and my understanding is they're not worried about it. They're excited about us being a part of
Yes.
it.
Fantastic, thank you, that's all.
Alderman Rote?
Thank you. Did I understand that your group is going to pick up all of the garbage and then put it in the garbage cans that our guys are going to be picking up?
Well, hopefully our residents are going to help us with that. But yes, we will. Our team will be doing sweeps to make sure that we're taking care of certainly all beer garden related trash, but they also do a good job of picking up whatever else they see. We will also empty the cans if they get full in the middle of the service, because nobody wants overflowing garbage cans. That doesn't look good on us either. And then the city team would be, removing the waste after it's been removed. And then if the cans aren't full, they'll take care of that at the end of the day.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council? If not, are there any questions from the members of the audience on item number 3?
Good evening. My name is Citlali Mendieta Ramos, and I'm a resident of West Allis and also a business owner, which will be very close to the park. We're very excited about the project. We fully support it. We think that bringing more to the neighborhood and to the area just helps create awareness and builds community. So we just wanted to give that statement. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Eh. Any other questions from the audience?
Neil Stuffick. I just want to say I would love to see Third Space right here in West Allis at the park. That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jean Hansen. I live at 974 South 57th Street. You paint a lovely picture of this wonderful community event. What are the plans for security in case somebody is enjoying themselves a little or a lot too much?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a question we got a lot when we were building the Elm Grove Beer Garden as well. And this may not seem like a perfect answer to your question, but these beer gardens do not generate problems. The people that are coming to these events are families. People come for a beer, maybe two. This is not a raucous nightclub experience. It is a community event. However, thankfully the police substation is not far away. We would make sure to have all of the phone numbers we need of every city personnel that we might need if there is an issue. I understand there are cameras throughout the park to handle, surveillance if there are issues there. And our staff is trained in, how to de-escalate, situations and when issues arrive. But really, we have not seen issues in our beer garden experiences.
Thank you. Any other questions from the members of the audience on our third item this evening? All right, seeing none, we will close our third and final public hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will move on to Section E, which is public participation. This is where the council may receive information from members of the public. This is a 30-minute period on our agenda. Each speaker must again announce their name and address for our record and limit their comments to one statement of no more than 5 minutes. Please recognize that we cannot take action on topics raised. Anyone wish to address the council under public participation this evening?
Hello. My name is Katie Wagner, and sorry if I'm skipping the line here. So there's other people on this list, so I'm sorry if I'm skipping. My address is 2174 South 69th Street, West Allis. And I'm here to give comment on the West Allis Police Department Standard 2.2.8. So I'm a resident of West Allis. I moved back to Wisconsin a couple years ago. I decided to move to West Allis because I believed it to be a very down-to-earth community full of people who care about their neighbors, who work hard and want safe, perhaps rather quiet places for their families to live in peace, you know, the usual. I believe in the principles to love our neighbors, to defend the due process rights of all persons, and the rights of protection from the tactics of ICE, including racial profiling, excessive force, warrantless arrests, and death, as the Constitution states, of anyone in our community. But I've met many people in West Allis who are scared of the illegal behavior of federal law enforcement. So when I heard the police chief state how he wouldn't immediately render aid to residents should they be approached by illegal activity, I was very surprised and shocked, and made me lose trust in our officials. Additionally, the chief's refusal to engage in discussions with our electeds and the public raises concerns about his responsibility to protect all community members. It made me also much more afraid to live in West Allis. It was like the bubble burst in my worldview. You see, I grew up in Southeast Wisconsin believing that law enforcement was in our communities to serve and protect all of us. But the reality I am seeing is that is not the case, and I fear we are not able to trust that our law enforcement will protect our neighborhoods, but will actually put us in more danger by agreeing to support and aid in federal law enforcement. Which do you think I should believe is the reality here? I'm deeply concerned that our law enforcement officers are asking for immigration status of anyone in West Allis, and especially during a traffic stop. This makes our communities less safe and violates the due process rights of all people, contrary to what I grew up believing, and it's a waste of our tax dollars. Public funds of West Allis should not be used for unlawful and unconstitutional immigration enforcement. I'm requesting that the policies be amended to one that upholds the due process rights of all and the public safety. I'm requesting that West Allis Police Department does not contact ICE or any DHS agency unless they have a judicial warrant signed by an immigration judge for a crime of a serious nature, and even then, I don't think they should be involved at all. Council members, I would invite your insight and request you to review these policies and ensure that all rights of West Allis residents are realized and supported by those in our community, with the most authority to make that happen. Would you be willing to talk more and hear from more folks who care about their neighbors? We want a policy that explicitly states that West Allis Police should not ask immigration status questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the council under public participation this evening? All right, seeing none, we will close public participation. And moving to page 2, item F, our standing committees will be meeting during recess. Those room numbers are listed on the top of page 2 of your agendas. If you are here for a specific item, whether it's a permit or some business with the city, a license, please take a look at that. And if you are unsure which room number to go to when we break for recess, just ask any one of us and we will make sure we get you into the right spot. Excuse me. Moving to item G, the mayor's report. I just have one quick thing as we come to the close of Black History Month. I know at the last meeting I had a lapel pin of Marian Anderson, which I talked about her. Well, tonight I am going to talk about my other lapel pin that I'm wearing, which is Thurgood Marshall, who I'm sure a lot of you are more familiar with than you were with Marian Anderson. As you may know, he was the first African American on the Supreme Court. He was a civil rights lawyer who used the courts to fight Jim Crow and dismantle segregation in the U.S. Marshall was a towering figure who became the nation's first Black United State Supreme Court Justice. He is best known for arguing the historic Brown versus Board of Education case, in which the Supreme Court declared separate but equal unconstitutional in public schools. The civil rights lawyer turned Supreme Court Justice made a significant impact on American society and culture. His mission was equal justice for all. Marshall used the power of the courts to fight racism and discrimination, tear down Jim Crow segregation, change the status quo, and make life better for the most vulnerable in our nation. So, as we move into March, I just want to once again wish everybody a happy Black History Month. That does conclude my mayor's report. Are there any reports from the alderpersons this evening?
Mayor Dan.
Yes. Alderwoman Noling.
Just want to remind folks, and I will have this out on social media starting tomorrow, but Alder Halverson and I are having office hours at Storykeepers Books the 26th from 6 to 7:30. Hope to see y'all there.
Thank you. Any other reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
I move for approval of the minutes of the February 10th, 2026 Common Council meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. If there are no corrections or omissions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Standing committee reports, we have none, so we will get to item K, our consent agenda.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
Do any council members wish for separate action on any of the items contained in item K, our consent agenda? Then seeing none, I move for approval of item K, our consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All my mind right now tells me to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Noling. Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Rope.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
And Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
I move that the Common Council stand in recess until the conclusion of our committee meetings.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in recess. I need a definite yes. Awesome. All right. Good evening. We will call the council back to order, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keen.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Noling.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
Grobe.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Halverson.
Here.
10 present.
Okay, a quorum is present. We will begin with the administration committee, and I will ask the clerk to read out that report.
The Administration Committee recommends adoption of item 28 and the motion to allow the city attorney to act as directed in closed session for item 29.
Mayor Devine, I move in accordance with the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Is there any discussion? If not, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Noling.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Grobe.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to the Public Works Committee.
The Public Works Committee recommends passing as amended of item 30, adoption of items 31, 32, and 33.
Mayor Devine, I move in accordance with the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Rote. Is there any discussion on the Public Works Committee? If not, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keen. Novak.
Aye.
Noling.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Turner. Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Grobe.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Then we'll move on to the Economic Development Committee.
The Economic Development Committee recommends granting of item 34, granting of item 35 with amended hours to reflect state law, passing of item 36, and adoption of items 37 and 38.
Mayor Devine, I move in accordance with the committee report.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Noling.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Grobe.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. And then we have Public Safety.
The Public Safety Committee recommends dismissal of the summons and complaint against Haley Negron for item 40.
Mayor Devine, may I explain the vote first?
Sure.
Okay. Just so the council is aware, Haley Negron was granted her Class D operator's license some time back. And one of the standard questions that we asked if there is any red flags on the driver's license is, how did you get here? Alderman Rote typically does that. Because we have an opportunity to review cameras or otherwise, and we really want our applicants to be honest, regardless of what the answer would be. Since Alderman Rote has consistently done that, I decided as the chair that I'm going to point that out to our applicants each and every time, that the reason we ask this question is because there are cameras. So you get an opportunity to be honest if you weren't honest in the first place, because we would take that into consideration. I value honesty. We need to value honesty on this council and when we're handing out licenses. Ms. Negron admitted that she was not honest, and we were able to hear that. The vote went 3-2. Alderman Haas had voted to dismiss the summons and complaint, and it was in favor 3-2 with Alderman Haas. Alderman Rote and myself voted no to not dismiss, which would in turn go to a hearing or subsequently into revocation status. Ms. Negron would then have to wait 12 months to reapply. She currently works at Stud's Pub a couple nights a week. She gave a viable explanation why she wasn't truthful, and it was kind of knee-jerk reaction. I'm willing to forgive that in some instances, but it's enough is enough with these applicants coming forward and taking that for granted that we're always going to just forgive and forget. Some lessons have to be learned the hard way, I guess. So that's all I have. But I make a motion to approve the Public Safety Committee report.
Thank you. So the motion is to dismiss? Okay, just so everyone's,
A yes is to dismiss,
okay.
a no is to not.
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
So, I vote would be to dismiss the summons complaint and allow her to keep her license.
Any other, Alderman Haas?
Yeah, Mayor Devine and, yeah, Alderwoman Grisham explained the situation very well. I would add to it that part of what we have to decide as a council is, she was driving on a suspended license and she lied to our committee about this. And she has acknowledged that she did lie. And she is working to get her license back. She presented documents showing that she's following the procedure now to get the interlock on her car. She is moving in the right direction. That's significant to me. That shows rehabilitation in my mind. That's my reasoning for bringing the motion to dismiss and voting aye in this situation to dismiss and allowing her to keep her license. I think she understands that you can't lie to a committee.
Thanks, Alderman.
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
I guess not being on the committee, was this her sole means of support? Is she supporting a family? I mean, were these all questions that came out, or?
Yes,
And-
those questions were asked. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And what were the answers?
The answer is it's not her primary job, but it's definitely a needed supplemental job to take care of these issues. She did admit, as Alderman Haas said, that this, was a learning experience. It did put a fire up under her, quote unquote, to address the issues that needed to be, and that she has learned her lesson.
Okay, and when it said that she admitted that she lied, did she admit it? Was she confronted that very first day, or did this admission come afterwards, after the?
It came after staff had to review camera footage, and summons and complaint was then issued after the fact.
Okay.
So it was not admitted there.
Thank
In
you.
fact, she denied it, and then I gave her an opportunity by saying, by the way, this is why we ask.
So she was called in for a second time?
No,
No.
this is the summons and complaint she's called in for tonight.
Oh, gosh, so she was here tonight?
Yep, she's here right now in the audience.
Okay, yeah, okay, thanks.
Madam Chair.
That's me.
Oh, sorry.
Darn good-looking madam, aren't I?
Mayor Devine.
Alderwoman Novak.
Sorry. I'm lost. Okay, so I guess this is, sorry, this is for Alderwoman Grisham though. So she was brought in, said no. The city went back, reviewed the tape. Then you brought her back in and she admitted.
Correct.
And then I did also, I believe I could address this. She's working to get her license back and something with an interlock.
Driver's license, not bartenders.
Okay.
The driver's license.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, driver's license. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Madam Clerk, you have something to say?
Yeah, really quick, excuse me. Alderwoman Grobe has issues connecting. She can't get back in. And just with a split vote, we might want to get every vote that can count.
Joe's on it.
So,
She says she's back in and there's nobody there,
Is she in the right
which we
meeting?
know is not accurate.
Yeah, is she in the recess meeting, maybe?
just for what it's worth, oh, there she is. Okay.
There she is. For what it's worth, there she is. Oh, it says calling. Oh, she's ill. Yeah. There she is. Welcome back. Can you hear us? Did you, Alderwoman Grove, did you hear the discussion on item 40?
I did. I quick pulled up. I had kind of the secondary, YouTube thing going on, so I had at least that. This is completely my rabbit's fault. He pulled the plug on my laptop. Sorry, guys.
Rabbits.
It's like the dog ate your homework, except it's a rabbit.
Okay, so the motion is to dismiss the summons and complaint, just to make sure you're on lined up with this. So a yes vote is to dismiss that. All right.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, let's do it.
All right. Alderperson Keen,
Aye.
Novak,
No.
Noling,
Aye.
Roach,
No.
Turner,
Aye.
Weigel,
No.
Grisham,
No.
Grobe,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Halverson,
Aye.
6 in favor, 4 opposed.
Motion carries. It's right there.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
I move that we adjourn until our next scheduled meeting, March 10th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Do you think we're gonna be